to the Kraft Tour magazine. I'm Bruce Beck. The 1992 Kraft Tour will contest more than 60 tournaments in 22 countries. During the next year, over 1,500 women will compete for nearly $25 million in prize money. The Kraft Tour is an engrossing one, so this program is designed to keep you up to date on tournament results as well as the latest tour rankings. And we'll introduce you to some of the diverse personalities on the tour. But before we jump into this season, let's take a look back at the events of last year. 1991 was the year of Monica Seles, match point at the Virginia Slims Championships. And that missed backhand volley from Martina Navratilova gave Seles victory. She finished as the world's #1 player and on top of the Kraft point standings. Suddenly, the youngster had become a star. She was as much in demand off the court as on it. For Monica, it was welcome to the world of big business. The model tennis player went from one photo shoot to another, and everywhere she went, the cameras followed. It was also a year to remember for Martina Navratilova, who defeated Monica in the finals of the Virginia Slims of California, giving her that long-awaited 157th singles title, which equaled Chris Everett's record. Big crowds and big money. But also in the Kraft Tour magazine, we showed you another side of tennis.
My name is Maider Laval. I'm 21 years old and I'm ranked 170th.
The battlefield of the qualifying, where the competition and desire is just as intense. We also took you behind the scenes to the less glamorous side of tennis. And for the lower-ranked players, traveling is tough.
If you're not one of the top players, and there's a lot of, busing it going on. I think a lot of the top players, when they, come into the airports, they don't have to sit in the immigration lines. They sort of get escorted through, and then they have, their limousine or a private car waiting for them, whereas we're either taking the underground, the train, or, just to get to where we need to go to.
We also look back through the history of tennis and introduce you to the great champions, both present and past. What about the players of today? One superstar from the past gave us her opinion.
To you, I could say, well, of course, they earn too much money and they get awfully angry and they do this, that, and the other. And to me, it doesn't when I'm watching. I just watch the game as a game, and I think it's absolutely terrific.
Life on the tour today can be tiring for the top players. The training, the practice, the traveling. But it's the constant media attention that proved to be too much for some.
I don't know how many press conferences we do a year. I think that's a little bit too much. And often you sit there and the people don't really, journalists don't know what to ask you anymore because you've been asked those questions before and giving a similar answer.
So what do the players do when they're not giving a press conference? A leisurely drive in a classic car, maybe? Or a whirlwind trip to yet another personal appearance? We showed you the glamorous off-court lifestyle of the stars who are always in demand.
I think, the media is always curious. Do you have a friend? Do you have a boyfriend? And, they don't realize that we live the same normal life as we can. We're normal people.
And like normal people, enjoy a laugh.
You want to see great tennis, brother? Wait.
Gabriela, Sabatini from take 3.
If you want to see great tennis,
27.
If you want to see...
I wonder if they ever finished that. Those were some of the laughs of 1991. Coming up next, the first two stops of this season. We'll journey to Sao Paulo and Brisbane. The Kraft Tour magazine is brought to you by Kraft, proudly setting the training table for the 1992 U.S. Olympic team. And by Grape Nut Cereal, hot or cold, it keeps you going strong all morning long.
I hate the diet. So I don't. What I do is eat right in the first place. I start with grape nuts.
You see, grape nuts is fat-free. It's a great natural energy source that helps keep me going all morning. It's naturally delicious. Really hearty. There's nothing quite like it. And when I eat grape nuts, when I eat right, I feel great. Try Post Grape Nuts. Eat right. And see how good you feel.
Breakfast with grape nut cereal helps keep you going strong all morning long.
This year, Kraft is helping to feed our athletes as they train for the 1992 U.S. Olympic team, giving our best as they give theirs. Because we know after a hard day's work, there's nothing better than coming home to a good meal. Kraft, setting the training table for the 1992 U.S. Olympic team.
Where would the action be without cable? In just 1 month, a subscription to cable gives you over 1,200 hours of sports programming you wouldn't be able to see anywhere else. Cable contributes to life.
Sao Paulo in Brazil was the first stop of the 1992 tour. It's a venue certainly favored by Veronika Martinek. Just like the previous year, she made her way through to the final where she played Sabine. But this time it proved to be an unhappy return for the girl from Czechoslovakia. She was beaten 6-3, 7-5. Brisbane, and the first All-Australian final for 9 years. Nicole Provis started the year in style and fueled Australia's hopes for another champion. Australia is famous for its trolleys, its cuddly koalas, and its great tennis.
Australia boasts a proud tradition in tennis. The big serve-volley game of Margaret Court dominated tennis throughout the 60s. She won a record 62 Grand Slam titles and many other victories around the world. And following her to the top, one of the most popular players ever, Yvonne Goolagong-Cawley.
I really think that Margaret Court and Yvonne Cawley, who set that tradition, set probably too high a standard, funnily enough. I think the public just expected that Australians would just keep on winning Wimbledon and keep on winning Australian Opens, and of course it's not as easy as that. I mean, as everyone knows, and the depth of women's tennis now compared to their day is just like chalk and cheese.
Sadly, the cheese has gone off in their search for the next tennis great. Every talented young Australian is pursued by the press and written about, but always compared to the players of the past.
Everyone just expects that a young player coming through will be another Margaret Court or another Yvonne Cawley, and we write about someone being very good, the best player since Yvonne Cawley and such, and of course natural enough the players then feel the pressure.
And nowhere do they feel the pressure more than when they're playing at home. For most of the year, the young players go unnoticed abroad, but when they arrive back home for the Australian circuit, they're thrown into the spotlight. One former number one has decided to alter her approach.
Since 1992, the start of it, just try to relax and not get so uptight in that respect towards my tennis, but at the same time, I'm a very competitive person, and most Australians are, because we're out to try and, prove a point, to the press, because they've said some bad things about us, and, we're out there trying to do our best.
And she produced her best and proved a point when she captured her first ever tour title in Brisbane.
Game Provis.
Oh, it was a great thrill for me. I mean, it was my first tournament that I'd won. Plus being in Australia, I guess I'm playing another Australian. It was a really special win for me.
From the pressures of tradition to the carefree nature of just starting out on the tour. Next up, we'll look at a promising American in her first year in the tour, Chanda Rubin from Lafayette, Louisiana. That's next on the Kraft Tour magazine.
You're looking at the heart of Miracle Ear, one of today's most advanced communications tools. Miracle Ear uses gold microcircuits for long life and durability. Like the electronics in satellites, it shapes and clarifies sound in the same way as sophisticated recording equipment. Yet a Miracle Ear system is no bigger than your fingertip. But if you have trouble hearing, Miracle Ear may dramatically improve the quality of your life. That's the beauty of Miracle Ear. How something so small can bring so much enjoyment back into your life. Discover for yourself. If you or someone you know has trouble hearing, call now to learn how Miracle Ear's advanced technology may help you hear better. Get the facts in Miracle Ear's free booklet by calling this toll-free number right now. The call and the information are free. There's no obligation. Our operators are standing by, so call now. Miracle Ear. Call now to hear more.
Don't be chained for hours to the Olympics. Break those chains with SportsCenter's Olympic Update. Live Monday through Friday mornings on ESPN SportsCenter.
From Brisbane, the tour moved to Sydney and the New South Wales Open. For the eventual winner, there would be $45,000 in prize money. It would go to Gabriela Sabatini. It's hard to believe that at the age of 21, Gabby's now a tour veteran. But she was in sparkling form throughout and continued that form in the final. Gabby certainly turned on the class and style against Arantxa Sanchez Vicario, who would run into an opponent in top form, and an opponent who was very much at home in the heat of Sydney. It was quality tennis from a quality player. Sabatini dropped just 2 games on her way to winning her 21st singles title, 6-1, 6-1. After a disappointing end to 1991, it was a great way to start the new year. Last year, Chanda Rubin was playing in the juniors. She then turned pro in August in time for the U.S. Open and surprised everyone in October by reaching the final of the Arizona Classic. She's now committed her life to tennis.
Her life may be in big-time tennis, but it's not all glamour.
I'm still in school right now, so we'll have to see how I keep going. I've been doing well. I've been keeping up with my work so far, but it's getting hard.
Away from the books, she's learning the lesson of life on the tour, traveling from one city to another, from one tennis center to another, and hopefully, if there's time, catching a glimpse of the famous sights. Although some of the older players may not agree, for Chanda, life on the tour is fun at 15. It wasn't a lot of fun in Australia, though. Her schedule didn't go as planned. She failed to qualify at the New South Wales Open in Sydney, so arrived at Flinders Park with very little match practice and a lot of time to fill on the practice court. Her ranking of 85 in the world gave her direct acceptance into the main draw of the Australian Open. But with so little match play, she was understandably nervous when facing her first-round opponent, the experienced Rod Fairbank-Niederfer from South Africa. And that experience proved to be the difference.
Well, I'm a little nervous, but I started off good. Had some close games and had a chance to, go up and with a pretty big lead, but
you know, just got away from me a couple times, and I kind of couldn't hold on to it in the second set, and she started playing better, and I guess I broke down a little bit my backhand too. So a few things I want to correct. I mean, I'm going to try to, you know, get tougher in the second set, and you know, not kind of have a lapse there, and you know, because in the second set it's an important game, that first game, and you know, when you want to come back and try to get hold of the match and turn it around to your advantage.
Will she be able to get tough in the second set and turn it around to her advantage? A lot to learn and plenty of time to think about it as she prepared for her long flight home. How will young Chanda deal with the tennis life? We'll be charting her progress, all the ups and downs on the Kraft Tour with regular bulletins throughout the year.
And so to the first Grand Slam tournament of 1992. Melbourne, the venue for the Australian Open. Mary Jo Fernandez was to find Monica Seles, the newly crowned world champion of women's tennis, in awesome form. Seles is accumulating one of the most impressive modern records in women's tennis, was rarely troubled in their 77-minute encounter. Seles literally powered her way to her 5th triumph of the 10 Grand Slam tournaments in which she's played so far. To put the statistic in perspective, Chris Everett won only 2 of her first 10 Grand Slam tournaments, and it took Martina Navratilova 16 attempts to win her first Grand Slam singles title. There were, however, times when Fernandez had reason to smile. It was a match, though, that Seles totally controlled. Even when Fernandez looked like she was winning a point, her opponent had the perfect answer. '92 then starts like 1991 for Monica Seles. Victory in the Australian Open. A proud moment for a proud dad. There was disappointment for the world's number 2, Steffi Graf, and her fans. She had to pull out of the Australian Open because on top of the flu, she contracted the rubella virus and was forced to fly home to Germany for immediate treatment. Meanwhile, the tour has said goodbye to Kathy Jordan. Kathy, now 32, who once reached the Wimbledon semifinals, is returning to Stanford University to finish a degree in political science. This month's Kraft Tour points features some familiar faces. At number 20, the consistent Katerina Maleva. The fast-talking, fast-serving Patty Fendick up to 17. One player not moving in the right direction, though, Czechoslovakia's Jana Novotná, down to number 12. Jennifer Capriati has decided to take a break from the tour. She's tied for 9th. 2 Aussies back-to-back, Rachel McQuillan and Nicole Provis. The Australian Open reflects the position of the top 4 players. Runner-up Mary Jo Fernandez is at number 2, and the familiar face at number 1 yet again, Monica Seles. Next up, we'll show you how the players handle jet lag on the Kraft Tour magazine.
I hate the diet.
So I don't. What I do is eat right in the first place. I start with grape nuts. You see, grape nuts is fat-free. It's a great natural energy source that helps keep me going all morning. It's naturally delicious. Really hearty. There's nothing quite like it. And when I eat grape nuts, when I eat right, I feel great. Try post-grape nuts. Eat right. And see how good you feel.
Breakfast with grape nut cereal helps keep you going strong all morning long.
Now, you can get every magic moment all in one incredible video. Magic Johnson's Always Showtime. It's free with your paid subscription to Sports Illustrated, the nation's #1 sports weekly. Call this toll-free number now and follow the leader up and down the court from high school to college to the pros. Magic keeps winning with a spirit and style that changed the NBA. Don't miss the Rookie's first NBA championship. Enjoy all the battles with the legendary Larry Bird as they fight for the last shot.
Down the middle, just what I thought. A hook shot at 12.
Call now to subscribe or renew. Get your free video plus 54 issues of SI, including the swimsuit issue, for only $1.29 an issue. Save over 55% off the cover price. For quicker delivery, use your credit card. The magic of Irvin Johnson will always be something special. Treasure it forever. And every week, enjoy all the emotion and drama of sports in Sports Illustrated.
Sleep. We all need it. We don't always get enough. And professional athletes require more hours sleep than the average human. Tennis players are no exception. New York or Sydney in Australia, travelling to faraway places is difficult. Time differences mean that when you want to sleep, you should be awake and vice versa. Gabriela Sabatini is a seasoned traveller now.
Well, at first it's a bit hard, what with the time change. There's many hours difference between my country and here. The journey is also quite long. It takes me a few days to get used to it. But fortunately, there was no problem. I adjusted well and easily.
But even if you travel hundreds of thousands of miles like the touring professional tennis players, it's still tough to adjust. The feeling of exhaustion is more than just the fatigue after a long flight. It is in part due to the body clock. This is the built-in mechanism that puts us to sleep at night and wakes us up in the morning. For us to feel on top form, the body clock must be in sync with local time. But with travelling such great distances, that isn't possible. When our body clock's out of phase, we feel tired and work less efficiently. It's commonly known as jet lag.
The physiological explanation is that the body clock is staying on home time for a few days, even though the new environment has got its own new time zone. So you've lost synchrony between the new time zone and the body clock.
A special isolation chamber has been built by the professor's team to help study jet lag and also the effect on shift workers. There are no windows or methods of communication. When you enter, you hear nothing from outside. Once the doors are closed, you're in total isolation. To see how the body clock goes out of sync, volunteers reside in the chamber for up to 2 weeks. It must seem palatial after what other volunteers have endured in the past. Some lived in caves.
And people live down caves for 2 weeks, 4 weeks, 2 months, 3 months, 9 months was the record. And when they were down there, they lived alone. They spent signals up to the surface, saying when they went to bed and when they got up. They were heroic efforts. But the big problem with them was you couldn't do much scientifically, because you can't, for example, make many measurements from someone who's 100 feet underground. It's also jolly unpleasant for the person who's living there.
Nothing so barbaric, though, from the professor and his team. They conduct continuous testing on the volunteers in their quest to solve the problems of jet lag and unsociable working hours. Because when the body clock goes out of sync with the environment, there can be no more serious problems than fatigue and depression.
Not only is their fatigue wrong, but they lose their appetite. They might even feel slightly nauseous at times. And they'll have all kinds of problems with bowel irregularity and something like that. The whole thing is a muddle. They feel slightly below par. They feel unable to concentrate and unable really to be able to do serious training and serious mental work. And that, of course, can become dispiriting.
The experiments are intricate and detailed. Information revealed is sometimes fascinating.
One of the things we've done is we've managed to show that if you remove all time periods, the body clock continues, but it shows a period not of 24 hours, but slightly slower than that, of about 25 hours.
So with high-tech gadgets and experiments, the good news is that science is slowly getting to grips with understanding the complexities of the body clock. Tests show it's better flying eastward, which accelerates the body clock. Flying the other way delays the body clock. Further discoveries are encouraging. The professor and his team have confirmed the belief that bright sunlight can help to remove depression, and the professor can offer advice on how to combat jet lag.
But the main problem then is forever trying to advance the body clock. And the way we have established that it can be done is by giving bright light early in the morning. So what that means is when you get to your new time zone, the way to advance your body clock is by getting out in the bright light early in the morning on body time.
But if you are about to fly off, the bad news, I'm afraid, despite all the studies and experiments, there's still no cure for the problem of jet lag. Enjoy your trip, sleep well.
This year, Kraft is helping to feed our athletes as they train for the 1992 U.S. Olympic team, giving our best as they give theirs. Because we know after a hard day's work, there's nothing better than coming home to a good meal. Kraft, setting the training table for the 1992 U.S. Olympic team.
When what you eat and drink gives your stomach a surprise, you want a medicine that works directly on your stomach. Pepto-Bismol. As it coats, Pepto delivers powerful medicine right where you hurt. Pepto-Bismol.
Saddle up, partner, for a Sunday night shootout. There'll be a showdown when the ladies of the LPBG roll into town for the Santa Maria Classic, Sunday night at midnight Eastern on ESPN. You're watching ESPN, the Total Sports Network.
Kraft Tour magazine brought to you by Kraft. We're proud to support our athletes by setting the training table for the 1992 U.S. Olympic team. And by Great Nut Cereal. Hot or cold, it helps keep you going strong all morning long. The tour says goodbye to the South Pacific and moves on to Europe and the United States. The players will be battling through time zones, and we'll be here to bring you the highlights, the latest news, and the tour rankings. Coming up next month, we'll have a look at tennis in Japan, and we'll meet Anke Huber. Is she the next Steffi? That's the question that many Germans are asking. See you next time for the Kraft Tour magazine.
It's February, and the Kraft Tour has returned to Europe for its winter stops. Too cold to play outdoors, so we reflect on tennis's greenhouse effect. Yes, the world of indoor tennis, which makes up nearly a third of the tour.